Hi everybody, my name is Daphne and I will be talking about the discontinuance of smoking shown in Chapter 5 of our textbook, Diffusion of Innovations, the 5th edition by Everett M. Rogers. I'm sure that many of you have seen somebody smoking a cigarette either in person or on TV. But have you ever wondered why you don't see it as much today? That's because of diffusion. The no smoking idea has been diffused through the past few decades, which has made more and more people quit smoking. Smoking cessation behavior is an example of diffusion by people discontinuing the previously adopted idea of smoking. In the past few decades, more and more people who have smoked regularly and who are still alive have stopped smoking due to the diffusion of anti-smoking campaigns. Since the nicotine in cigarettes is extremely addictive and can result in addictive behavior, most people think that once an individual begins smoking, smoking is not fully controllable anymore, and it actually isn't their fault. The discontinuance of diffusion of smoking happened over the course of a few decades, dating back to around 1970, maybe a few years before that, but around 1970. And in 1964, surgeons report it was found that smoking was dangerous to a person's health. This is because doctors studied the effects of smoking cigarettes on the body. After the scientific studies, warnings were placed on cigarette packs and on any ads that cigarette companies might have been shown or put out. Tobacco companies also stopped radio and television advertising in 1971. Even city governments and private companies started to restrict places where individuals were allowed to smoke, which made it harder to find a place to smoke a cigarette, which in turn resulted in some people stopping smoking. In 1989, a California referendum added a 25-cent per pack tax that is used to provide cigarette cessation, advertising, and training programs for individuals who want to stop smoking. Since the price per pack of cigarettes got more expensive, in return some people stopped smoking, but still 25% of the United States population continued. An example given by the book was in 1960, like the mid-1960s, flight attendants would give passengers a free pack of cigarettes with their after-meal coffee, which obviously allowed them to smoke on the plane, which is extremely dangerous and really bad for a ton of different reasons. However, in the late 1980s, U.S. airlines banned smoking altogether from flights. During this time, the effects of secondhand smoke came to light, which made more restaurants have laws and create no smoking eating areas, as well as workplaces banning smoking. As time went on, the perception of smoking changed from the idea of smoking being a really cool thing where only the cool kids do it, and changed to a very negative behavior that no one needed to be part of. The slogan, "Only losers smoke," was also adopted during this time. In 1995, a small university in southern New Mexico towns and cities also started adopting this idea, such as Santa Fe, Melissa, Carlsbad, Deming, and Silver City. Even places other than New Mexico, such as El Paso and Lubbock, Texas, and even Anchorage, Alaska, started adopting these. This diffusion process of banning smoking in public places took place from 1995 to 2002. Even though most people agreed that smoking was bad and that secondhand smoke was indeed a real and terrible thing, it was framed as a health issue rather than an economic issue due to many restaurants realizing that they would lose business if they didn't provide a smoking area for individuals that did continue to smoke. Due to these new laws, some people said that the no smoking rule were affecting their rights. The book shows a quote from an angry restaurant owner in New Mexico in 2022 saying, "What right does the government have to come in here to a property that I own and tell me what I and my customers can do?" We can definitely agree that some people were not taking these rules happily, even with all the crazy and harmful effects that smoking had. In certain places where people pushed the individual rights issue with the no smoking campaigns, it failed. The book is an example in 2002 in Alamogordo, New Mexico, whose population included many individuals who highly valued their individual rights. The no smoking ordinance was rejected. After reading this case study and noticing how much really went into getting people to stop smoking and trying to make it less popular, I know, and I also now hope you understand the effects of diffusion and how it worked in the past. To name a few, I learned that diffusion is not always linear, like what happened in 2002 when restaurants had to dedicate an area for smoking, even though they were against it. I also learned that diffusion is not always instant, noticing how it took almost 40 years to push and spread the idea that smoking is bad and that people shouldn't do it. In conclusion, the discontinuance of smoking is a great example of how diffusion has shaped our world into what it is today, and it shows that everything is constantly changing, even if we aren't noticing it. Thank you so much.